How can I make an encounter that will unalive my party without them feeling too railroaded or getting pissed off? I've had an idea for a campaign where my players die in combat, and attempt to get their souls back and resurrect themselves, in order to avenge their own deaths. How they will be able to do so, I'm not sure yet. But what I do know is I want my players to feel like they have some sort of agency over the events, so to do this without completely scripting the event, I have to make an encounter that will absolutely, without a doubt, lead to the party's demise. How could I do this while still making the combat fun, and not make them feel like they're being railroaded too much even though they are? I feel like just putting them up against ultra tough over-leveled enemies would be too obvious. I also don't want them to necessarily know that it's a scripted campaign. What are your thoughts on this idea, and how could I execute this well? To your players, hey guys, I want to make a campaign where the PCs die in combat and then try to get their souls back to resurrect themselves. Do you want to play out the fight where you die, to have some additional context for exactly how it happened, or would you rather we just have it as the backdrop of the campaign and start play after death? How to unalive the players in a way they won't hate. Maybe a literal suicide mission. They are holding the pass so their king and people can escape certain death. They don't have to accept the job, volunteers only. Count the turns they hold, and relate that to how many of their people survive. Works best if you have already introduced various NPCs that they like, and or has the players come up with some of their close but non-heroic NPC family/friends. This can't be done well. It's a pain in the butt, by definition. It completely removes player agency. It's the very definition of railroaded. Either don't use this arc at all, or just tell the players outright, okay, we're going to do an arc. That starts with you all being in the afterlife. In addition to what's been said already, you don't have to unalive them. You could have their souls get ripped from their bodies while they sit in a suspended state. This could be from a psionic or something like a mind flayer, and have the adventure take place in another plane of existence trying to get back to their bodies and enact their revenge. Maybe this has happened to multiple people/adventurers and they are going to put a stop to it once and for all. I am totally on board with all of the people saying talk to your players and explain the concept, or just don't do it or whatever. But I have an alternate plan. Hear me out. Write a campaign that doesn't really have anything to do with your initial concept. Make it a fully fleshed out, hopefully interesting campaign in its own right, but make it a bit of a meat grinder. If there is a TPK, you get to execute on the concept. But be prepared for it to not happen at all by having your main/backup campaign continue. I know this sounds a little flippant, but I think the idea of escaping the afterlife to return to the prime material is executed best if there is unfinished business here in life. If you didn't have a main campaign with goals of its own, then there's no unfinished business to get back to.